Hey guys and dolls, I know my hair kind of looks like a cross between George Washington and Marie Antoinette right now. I know. I'm actually about to film something else, which you'll actually see before this video goes up, so I'll go ahead and link that in the description box down below if you want to go ahead and check that out. This look is using the Vice 3 palette. I really love that palette. I really wanted to do something using Sonic from this palette because it is just such a delicious copper color. Bondage is amazing. I used that. I used a little bit of Alchemy. I didn't use Alien. I used Vanity and I used Revolver, and I think that's all that I used from this palette today. Love this palette. So I don't really have anything else to say about the look. I hope you guys enjoy it. Got the eye primer on, spread it out all over. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a secondary base, or actually I'm going to use two colors. I'm going to be using an eyeshadow today that's slightly duochromatic. It's not like a super hard flash, and that is Sonic from the Vice 3 palette. It's a really cool copper shade. It has a little bit of an orange tint, a little bit of a pink tint to it. So what I'm going to do is use two different eyeshadow bases to create a different effect. So I'm going to be using a white pencil on the inner corner and a black one in the outer corner. So I'm going to start out with the black pencil. This is Tarred Pencil from OCC. I'm going to paint that on the lower portion of my lid. In the inner corner, I'm going to be using the Milani Shadow Eyes pencil in Snowy White. Now this one's a waterproof pencil, so you're going to want to get it on and work quickly with it. So you see what I've done is I've blended this into a bit of a gradient. So I've got the black on the outer corner, white on the inner corner. Now that I have that on, I'm going to pick up Sonic, which is that amazing copper eyeshadow, and I'm using a MAC 239, and I'm going to very carefully place this on the lower portion of my lid. And you can see that over the white it takes on that orangey copper aspect, and over the black it almost becomes sort of a coppery plum. It's really interesting. I'm going to pick up a MAC 242 and I'm picking up Bondage, which is the color right on top of Sonic. And I'm going to place Bondage in the outer portion of the crease, a little bit onto the lid. And I'm going to start to work that into the crease, being very careful. I don't want to take it up too high. Because we're doing frosty colors all over that lid, you don't want it to go up too high. You want to keep it nice and centrally located. I'm going to pick up a Sigma E25. And I'm going to blend that out. And as you get that blended out, you're going to come just to that edge of the black and it'll start to almost look like a brownish plum. And that's when you know you need to kind of step away from the eyeshadow. Don't do too much. Okay, so Bondage ends up going a little too brown for me when it's blended out like that. Like, I think it looks good and everything, but just for this particular look I want a little more of a purple look. So I'm taking a little bit of Vanity over that. Taking a little teeny tiny Wayne Goss brush. This is a 5 brush. I'm going to blend Alchemy into the upper portion of the lid here just above Sonic. And I'll blend that over into the crease area just a little bit, very softly, very delicately, because I'm not trying to take the color up too high. Oh, and once again, I did it again! How do I keep not listening and hearing that the fan is on? Anyway, grab a little soft brush from Wayne Goss, or just, you know, it doesn't have to be Wayne Goss, but just a little soft brush. I like this one for delicately blending out edges. Now I know this fallout is like really distracting, guys, but bear with me before I remove it. I'm going to do my eyeliner. This is Revolver from Urban Decay. It's one of their 24/7 liquid eyeliners. I love it. It's so glittery. Gorgeous with a look like this. It's such a great way to do something different from brown or black. It's just to add a little bit of Walk of Shame eyeshadow from the Naked original palette, and I'm just using this almost like a concealer just under my brow. I'm not even really trying to touch the eyeshadow that I did before. I'm barely gonna blend right next to it, but I don't really want to mess with it. And now I'm going to remove the fallout, because I know you guys are probably freaking out about the fallout. I don't mind when eyeshadow has fallout when you're like initially applying it. That doesn't really bother me, because so many different factors play into that. The brushes you use, how you apply it and everything. And then also because you guys know I always do my eyeshadows first. I know it bothers a lot of you, so it is worth mentioning that these do have a fair amount of fallout when they're being applied. obviously. Okay, so I have been using the It Cosmetics CC cream in like every single tutorial for a really long time. So I'm going to try something a little different today. I'm going to start out with the Naked Beauty Balm. And put that on all over as my primer. And if you never used it, it smells kind of like herbally and a little bit like licorice. And then for my foundation today, I'm going to use something I haven't used in a while. This is the Makeup Forever HD. I'm going to be applying that with a Beauty Blender sponge. I still love my Real Techniques one. I know you guys are probably gonna like think it's some big thing that I'm using this, but honestly I just had some of these left over from when I discovered the Real Techniques sponge, and I still like it more than this, but I mean I'm not gonna let this just sit there and go to waste. So anyway, next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna take a MAC 252 and I'm just gonna use that right here in like the more delicate areas. Nice like flat brush just to really clean up those areas that can be a little tricky to get with the foundation after you've put your eyeshadow on. I'm often asked how I go around the eyeshadow, and that's how, just as delicately as I can possibly do. So lately I've been liking the Makeup Forever Full Coverage Concealer, but it's a little bit too much coverage for me. Like I feel like it's just too much. So I've been mixing that in with the Rose Radiance highlighter from MAC, which is a little bit lighter, a little bit pinker, and a whole lot sheerer. So the two together ends up being kind of what I want from a concealer. So I just put that on the little mixing palette right over where I had my foundation and mix the two together. And then make the under eye magic happen. Not gonna bother getting it really close because we're gonna do some smudging of some makeup under the eye today. And I do want to make sure that I get the under eye bags that are here, and then also lift up my cheek a bit because this is just a shade lighter than my foundation that I'm using. So since I'm using a whole bunch of stuff I haven't used in a while, I'm also going to use the Makeup Forever Pro Finish powder. This is in shade 113, and I'm going to use that with a Real Techniques blush brush. Just gonna pat this on to set the foundation. Okay, this is maybe a little darker. Maybe that's why I haven't used this in a while. Okay, so we go over this with my favorite powder, which is the MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in Light, because there's a reason why this is my favorite. Okay, well now that I blended it with that, that actually looks pretty darn good. I'm going to take my Dim Light powder from Hourglass. And I'm going to use this on my cheeks as like a pale girl bronzer. Okay, so now I'm going to use a Tarte blush. This is exposed here. And I'm using that with a, what is this? A Contour F40 brush from Sigma. And I'm placing this on the back side of the apple of my cheek and then working it back. Like round, 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 swish, round, 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 swish, round, 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 swish. The first thing I'm going to do to finish this out is I'm going to apply a gray eyeliner right close to my lash line. So I'm going to be very, very careful. I'm going to take a little bit of black eyeliner in my inner rim. This is the same pencil we used in the outer corner earlier. I'm going to take a little teeny tiny brush and just blur this out. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Revolver eyeshadow and I'm going to blur that over just a little bit. And actually I think I've applied too much, so I'm going to take a Q-tip and just remove some of that gently. You want it to have a nice balance with the top lid. And then what I'm going to do is just a really light coating of mascara on my upper lashes because we're going to be doing falsies. So my lashes today are from Daiso Japan. They have this really cool look where the inner portion of them is a little lighter than the outer portion, so it really makes the eye look tilted up. Now normally when I cut down eyelashes, I recommend cutting them down from the outside in. I'm going to cut these from the inside out. So now that I have those nice and snipped down, I would measure them, but I already know they're going to fit because I did the other side. And I'm going to put a little bit of lash glue on. This is the Duo Lash Adhesive with vitamins. This is the one that's latex free, so it's great if you have a latex allergy. Alright, and then go ahead and apply them on. I usually place them in the center. And then fix them on the inner and outer corners. And check against the other side and see that they're the same. And then I'll press them on with the back of my tweezers. One last little touch for the eyeshadow. I'm going to take MAC's Jest eyeshadow. And I'm going to place it right here on the inner corner. If you don't have this, you can use any kind of little shimmery light color. You could use Bobby Dazzle from the Vice 3 palette if you want. However, I don't know, I was just thinking I want a little shimmery shimmer. And I thought, who better than Jest to do this? And I'm almost sad that I haven't used Jest eyeshadow in a really long time because it's perfect for this. Alright, now for lips, I'm kind of at a quandary. Do I go nude? Do I do purple? I think I'm going to go with nude. Let's start out with Enchanted Topaz lipstick from Milani. So I give that a couple minutes to set in, and then I'm going to go over that with the Eldorado liner from Urban Decay. Do a little line right there. It's unique, it's cool. I saw this at Fashion Week and I thought it was so cool. I was like, I can't wait to do that in a tutorial. So I'm just patting a little bit of my foundation over my lips as a primer. And then I'm going to use MAC Flat Out Fabulous lipstick. It's one of the retro matte, so it's like really dry. It's kind of like putting lipstick on with a crayon. But the end result is so pretty that it's worth it. And here we have the completed look. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I really enjoyed the Vice 3 palette. It does have a lot of fallout when you're applying the colors, but as you can see, you know, the fallout doesn't continue to happen as you're wearing them. That's a real concern for me. But I do notice a lot of people don't like fallout when they're applying them, so that might be a concern for you. But overall, I really love it. So anyway, that is this tutorial. I will see you guys in my next one. I want to invite you to check out my playlist of other tutorials. Definitely. Oh, things fell. It's fine. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you guys in my next one. I want to invite you guys to check out my tutorial playlists, which I will have linked in the description box down below, and make good choices and just be yourself. See you, bye.